Business meeting of the Board of Education of the Cleveland Municipal School District will now come to order. As you can very clearly tell, I am not Chair Sarah Ellicott. She's sick, so I'm stepping in for her. Mr. Stockdale, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Ellicott. Mr. Billups.
Here.
Mr. Briggs. Sorry. Ms. Jones. Pastor Jones. Mrs. LeBron.
Here.
Mrs. Peak.
Here.
Dr. Sridhar.
Here.
Mrs. Welchow.
Here.
There are 6 members present.
Thank you. I would ask everyone who wishes to rise and participate in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, we will have our public participation. During this segment of the business meeting, we will hear all public comment on either agenda or non-agenda items, other than the school calendar. This public participation period will be for persons who have previously submitted the online request to speak form and to address the board for up to 3 minutes each. Logan Gernacki. Logan Gernacki. Carrie Sterry. Carrie Sterry. Okay, that ends our public participation time. This evening's consent agenda includes the minutes of the last board meeting and 1 legal resolution, 5 Board of Education resolutions, 9 finance resolutions, 4 operations resolutions, 1 IT resolution, 2 academic resolutions, and 11 excellence and culture resolutions. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of agenda items 4.02 through 11.11 as set forth in the board meeting agenda.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Stockdale, will you please call the roll on this motion?
Mr. Billups.
Yes.
Ms. Jones.
Yes.
Dr. Sridhar.
Yes.
Mrs. LeBron.
Yes.
Mrs. Peak.
Yes.
Mrs. Welchow. Motion passes with 6 votes.
We have the next 4 resolutions that are not on our consent agenda and will be voted on separately. Before we go to these resolutions, Dr. Morgan, did you have a comment here about the budget?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Sridhar. So we have, in a moment, I'm going to be bringing up our Chief Financial Officer as he's actually making his way up to the podium to present our budget for the upcoming year. This is the work we've been doing really all year to bring in line our budget realities given our current state, and also this will reflect some of the updates we've been doing around building brighter futures and our staffing. So we did want to bring that update for you in a presentation form, and then later Chief Stockdale, once he presents this, also we would take questions from the board as well. There will be some motions that he will be asking for the board to be voting on. So with that, I'll bring up our Chief Financial Officer, Kevin Stockdale.
Thank you.
Is that the...
And for those that are watching, this is it is in the it's in board docs. The budget resolution is under 12.02, I believe it is. Yeah, the 12.02. You'll see the 26-27 board budget presentation, and we're going to have that up for those that are here in a moment.
Forgive me for that. So yes, I'm here to present the 26-27 fiscal year budgets, and you'll note that there are actually 2 resolutions on the agenda tonight. These are in the non-consent section, and the first of them is to finalize the FY26 budget. We do this every year. It's a standard practice, and what happens is that, for instance, throughout the fiscal year, as we receive more grants, we receive approval from the board to spend those grants, and so we make adjustments at the end of the year to change those appropriations to reflect the grants. So you'll be asked to approve that, which is an annual requirement with the county. For the fiscal year 27 budget, just a little bit of regulatory context here. We are, as the board, you are charged with governance, and the budget is really it's a governance tool as well as a management tool. We are adopting it tonight in order to comply with state law, and we will submit it to the county budget office as a result of this. Most of my presentation will focus on the general fund. If you have questions about other areas, I'd be happy to talk about those areas. Oh, awesome. Okay. So before I get started talking about the budget specifically this year, I wanted to take a moment for the board, but also for the community as a whole, to think about where we've been. So looking at the time period, the last 3 years that this leadership team has been together, just the significant work that has happened. So, in fiscal year 24, we went into state fiscal oversight. This was actually the second time that we had done so within a year. We had done so at the end of calendar year 2022. This board adopted a deficit reduction plan, and I will have a slide, I believe, later on that talks about really the enormous cost savings that have occurred as a result of that to improve our financial outlook. And then moving forward, a budget that included that for future fiscal years. In 25, we ran into the end of the ARP-ESSER money, the $465 million that we received. And so we had that challenge. We are appreciative of the support that we received from voters on the levy and bond issue. And we also that year made changes to our student-based budgeting formula, which is the formula that funds our schools themselves. And I'll talk a little bit about that as well. We had some other cost savings measures like calendar consolidation. And, we made enhancements, but even then we were noting that there would be likely a deficit in the current fiscal year. This year that they're wrapping up right now, we've made sizable reductions again. The board challenged us with narrowing the gap by $5 million, which I believe we will have done by the time that we have our final numbers to present. We went through Building Brighter Futures, and we will meet our $30 million savings target that was included in that. And then, just to reiterate again that we did experience a deficit last year, and we are anticipating a small deficit again this year. Our central office budget process, we had a very rigorous process this time where we set a goal of $15 million in annual reductions, and we have accomplished that. These reductions come across basically all areas, so every chief had a reduction target, and we were able to meet those, and then here today to present. When I talk about the budget for the school district, there are really two big buckets, and sometimes we talk about student-based budgeting or school budgets and central office, and it can be confusing because central office, as you'll see, includes a lot of really student-facing and school-based stuff. So on the student-based budgeting side, these are the dollars that you see show up on a budget for a school, and it's a lot of the things that you would expect. It's things that most directly are controlled by a school principal. I would note on the right side, the central office budget, there's a lot of stuff on that list that occurs in the schools directly. So pre-kindergarten obviously occurs in the schools, but it is managed centrally. Things like nutrition, safety and security, special education, facility operations, which is our great staff that take care of the buildings. Those are all occurring in schools. That is part of the central office budget process as well, the way we're organized. And then some of it is student-facing, like transportation that directly student impact. It's worth noting that, as you go down this list, and the lengthy list that I provided is just a summary of it, doesn't include everything. Central administration is a relatively small part of it, and it's something that really we've been focusing on here as well. So going through the budget process, top of mind for all of the chiefs and their staff was how does the work that we're doing align to goals and guardrails? And thinking about that, going directly into the student-based budgeting process in the schools, I think you'll see that the work that we did last year and that we did this year as well, building upon that, really is targeting funds toward the type of academic interventions that we need. So when we talk about student-based budgeting or school budgets, it's really the personnel and non-personnel budgets. For the personnel budgets, it's a lot of it is ensuring that we have reasonable class sizes, and so we have good staffing ratios. That's where a lot of it starts. Also ensuring that we have the type of programming that we want to offer. So that's making sure that we have the K-8 enrichment programs and then college and career pathways in high schools. That all happens in the budget process. And then, of course, providing the administrators and other positions that are necessary. On the non-personnel side, we have a dollar amount that's provided per student for a general education student, and then supplemental amounts for special education and ELL students. And those are there in recognition that additional resources are needed, in addition to the additional staffing resources that are needed. And then on the right side, we still do have quite a few schools that have unique school models. So these are schools that provide, that could not provide the type of curriculum or instruction that they do without some sort of staffing supplement. And these are the schools like, the Cleveland School of the Arts, for instance, that require some outside expertise to make sure the students get everything they can. This was the school budget process. This occurred beginning in February. On a high level for central office budgeting, we also started a bit after February, but like I said, we had this $15 million reduction target. This is on top of the $5 million that we already were working from this year. And that we accomplished it. We made a $15 million reduction that's reflected in our budget, and that includes 185 central office positions. And of those 185, 43 are currently filled. So again, trying to make the best that we can of staff planning and taking advantage of vacancies, but also reductions of filled non-bargaining positions. This chart really dives down a little bit deeper on that, and I think a point of pride is that we've engaged with the difficult problems, and one area that we've heard is that your administration, you're our top-heavy administration, and we've heard this with the Auditor of State's audit, and even before that, it's something that we've been working on. So what this chart is showing is the blue line are the number of positions at central office, the orange line are the number of filled positions at central office. There's a dotted line that shows when Dr. Morgan started and the reductions that have occurred since then. So not only has there been a reduction in the number of total positions dedicated to central office, but there's been an actual reduction in filled positions. And this is before the reductions that we're going through right now. So you're seeing, a 17% reduction prior to the reductions that we are going through right now in central office since the beginning of 2024. This is not, one thing this is not a four-year forecast presentation, but I did want to give you a preview of what the four-year forecast would look like, given that is ultimately what we will be held accountable for. So there are two very simple versions of the forecast here. The top one is just the four-year forecast from February that I presented and that was adopted, and that was showing the deficits, the savings targets that we had over those years, as well as the deficits in that second line, building over time, and going through the cash balance, which is the third row, and getting it to the point where in FY29, we would not be able to pay our bills. And knowing that without, even with these savings targets that are incorporated, that we would go into state fiscal precaution at the end of the summer when I present the next 4-year forecast to you without further cost savings measures. The budget update that is below that, as I said, I haven't updated the financials with anything beyond what we knew in February, other than where we are with the budget now for next year and then projecting out for that. And so the number this year stays the same. But what you can see is in future years, bumping up that number from $35 million, which was the savings target, to hitting $50 million the first year. And that is inclusive of Building Brighter Futures, the central office savings that we have accomplished, as well as the additional $15 million in savings that we're committing to with this budget process. That number bumps up a little bit in the second year to $54 million. And the good news here that you're seeing is that this will allow us to have a positive 4-year forecast in the fall when it comes to the FY29 number. I do want to note, that even with these reductions, we are running a deficit, an annual deficit every year of this forecast. And so there's more that will have to be done, but this is really significant progress where we've come from. That's what this chart is trying to show, and I've shown this to you before. This chart has gotten better, thankfully, every time I've presented, and we're very pleased with that. Also noting that there's still more that needs to be done. What we would want to see is we would want to see the top line, which shows our cash balance over time, stay above zero in perpetuity. But what it is showing is that it has gotten better. It's gotten better every time, which means that we are doing a better job of managing our money, and that we, specifically to this, that has been $461 million improvement since November of 2023 to now in the cash balance projected for the year after next. So talking about the budget at a very high level, I broke the budget up into 2 components just to give you an idea of the kind of like the mega trend of what's happening with the budget. The general fund, I've included on this slide. I also included ARP-ESSER because the ARP-ESSER was effectively like unrestricted funding for us when we received it. And it tells a picture, or the picture tells the story, right? Where we had this huge amount of money that we were able to spend to do all these things with that you're seeing in 24, and mostly disappearing. And this district has done the hard work to close that budget deficit, and then that we have held the line on expenses, and we are actually decreasing our budget for next year in general fund. On all other funds, this one, there are a few that are increasing here, and I wanted to let you know what they are and why that's happening. So if you look at the 26-27 amount, you see it's increasing over 25-26. That had been a declining number, but it really comes down to 2 areas that are increasing, and there's a good reason for these. So the gray box, and the colors are getting harder and harder for me to see, but the gray box, which is kind of in the middle of the chart across, is bond retirement. And the good story here is that we are spending more on bond retirement this year because we are retiring debt. So we have debt from 2014 that we will pay off this year. So every year we're making payments toward it. We're making a balloon payment this year, so that will be off our books. And then the other area that's increasing is the yellow box, permanent improvement, and this is our bond dollars at work. So thank you, voters, for approving the bonds. This is construction that we'll be doing, so renovations to schools, construction, all of that. That's predominantly why these are going up. I also wanted to note that we received some updated information on our rating, and the external raters are not an easy crowd to keep happy, And especially right now, because they see what's happening with public education across the nation, as well as in Ohio, and they see a lot of difficult things in the market for public education. So, questions around federal support for schools, what's happening at the state level. And we were pleased that this year we received 2 rating upgrades, and then another that maintained in the upper medium grade. In May, we received the most recent round of ratings, and they kept us stable and affirmed where we were. And what I'm hearing from my colleagues is that other districts are being downgraded, and that this note at the bottom is that these external forces are significant, and that's a big part of it. But the ratings agency specifically called out the fact that the district is doing the right thing to right-size the district and to match expenses to available resources. They have confidence in the work that we're doing, and so that's why they're keeping us where we are. All right.
Is there any questions? Yes.
Thank you for that presentation, very helpful. Just a quick question on slide 9. How much of that $35 million of savings that was identified for 27 back in February has been actioned? And then part 2, the additional $15 million, how much risk is there in what's been identified for that?
Yeah, great questions. So the $35 million that I recommended and that the board adopted as a target for us, at that time, we did not have the $35 million. We were internally saying, well, we had already committed to $5 million that we would close through efforts with central office, and that has been accomplished. The rest of the $30 million at that point was, it's got to be Building Brighter Futures and then other central office cuts. We did not have cuts to equal that at that time. Mm-hmm. And so all the work that is come from that, and that was from the last fall's forecast, really has been through the Building Brighter Futures process and central office budgeting this spring.
Okay, so we've gotten that first 35 at this point, or we still need to?
At this point, we're at the 50 million for 27. So we have moved from, let's set a target of 35 million for next year to, we are actually presenting a budget that will cut 50 million. So
maybe let me rephrase. So in terms of the actions to get us to the 50, it sounds like the leaders in central office work together and the school leaders work together to identify this additional 15.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it just got identified, so those haven't been actioned yet. There hasn't been time to actually take action on those. The 35 that we said we don't have yet, but we're going to go get, we said that in February. Have we started to actually get that 35?
We've not started to save it, but it will be in place for next school year, next fiscal year.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a couple questions. On that same chart, so this projection that goes out to 28 and 29, I know this is not your official 4-year projection, but does this have any estimates of collective bargaining increases or anything like that?
That's a great question. So we currently have a contract through 27, and so this only includes collective bargained general wage increases through 27. We have health insurance increases that are baked into it that are just a historical trend line, but nothing for 28, 29 for collective bargaining.
So
yet.
we should expect that gap to grow if the bargaining results in an increase across the board increases and so on. If there are any, that would actually be on top of whatever it is here.
Correct.
Okay. I have a second question, and this is, Dr. Morgan, this is directed more at you, and this is not necessarily a question as opposed to an observation. I, for one, as a board member, appreciate the work that you all have done to make reductions. But I would really encourage us as a board, as a leadership team, and as a school community to start to document what these cuts are actually meaning to our students, our teachers, and our community, right? I mean, there's just simply no way to take $460 million out of school spending in a 4-year period and say that the kinds of services, the quality, the kinds of things the kinds of experiences that students receive is the same, right? There has been changes. There have been changes. There have been reductions in the services. There have been reductions in the experiences that our students are encountering. And if you want to comment now, that'd be great, in terms of how are we capturing that, and what is our approach to talking about the impacts of these reductions. These are much needed reductions, right? We do not want the fiscal watch or the fiscal takeover from the state. We want to be in control of our destiny. And I appreciate the hard work that you're doing, but how are we communicating that? And the second part of that is, what is our legislative approach, right? How are we communicating to the folks down in Columbus who are making the decisions that eventually come down to forcing our hand in terms of what our budgets look like, and how do we talk about those?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, you can't get to 461 million and there aren't changes. And I think we've been very transparent that there have been a lot of changes from calendar, going from 5 calendars to 1 calendar that has impacts, reducing the footprint of 29 schools, that has there's a lot of change management. And what I get behind what you're saying is like, what is the, not only what is the change, but also what is the impact that takes place with that. There are a couple of immediate reactions I have to that. One, through the work that we continue to do through progress monitoring is really important. The work we do through goals and guardrails to just see what is the actual impact it's actually having on student achievement. And what I love the charge that you guys have given us to do is to also think through our budgeting process, how we're aligning that to board goals and guardrails, because we do have goals, and what you guys have charged us with is ensuring that we make investments in the areas where we're supposed to make investments and deprioritize where we don't deprioritize, where those investments shouldn't be there. Just because there are changes also doesn't mean that they're, in some cases, there may have not been a material impact in terms of academics. We can show that. In some cases, there could have been. There could have been areas that we were prioritizing before, but it's not areas that are in the board goals and guardrails now that you guys have asked us to prioritize. And so I think that all of these areas we have done to align to the goals and guardrails that you guys have asked us to do with the impact that we're trying to do, and then also with the changes we have made. So we'll continue to share those updates, with the board, and where there are areas, as you guys will continue to see through our board goals and guardrails, and you guys do this, where areas are going down in the different area, that we need to think about investments or think about how we may invest in certain areas and deprioritize some other areas. So I think that's the continued work, but I think it's a really great call out of just the impact of change, and that's something that we have to continue to wrestle with. The second part you were asking about was on the legislative agenda, and that's a big part of the work that we continue to do. Now, I mentioned the work that we do through the Ohio 8, where we get a chance to meet with other large urban districts in the state. We have lobbyists that do work with us through the Ohio 8, where we're all championing this work. All of us are seeing the challenges in our respective systems in terms of the budget impacts. I have regular meetings with our delegation locally, where I'm not only presenting on what's taking place through the work of building brighter futures, but also the challenges we're seeing, and we're asking for their advocacy, we're asking for their support. We also have a delegation that also represents us down in Columbus as well in these issues. So this is the work that we will continue to do, and I think it's a big part of our work now, because as I've shared publicly, not only in this forum, but also in public meetings, we have done the work, as you have shared, we've done the work to make reductions. A big part of this now is we need to look outwardly and inwardly and outwardly and just say, where do we need help for people to come alongside, because we've done the hard work, and now we need our partners to support us in this work to make sure we can further this along.
Thank you. And remind us when, in the future, if there are, as you are reporting on the goals and guardrails monitoring, if there are things that are now harder for you to do because of reductions in order to meet those goals. We as a board are going to continue to hold you to meet those goals and guardrails that we set. But when it becomes hard, show us that this is how it's becoming hard. Any other questions from members of the board? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Stockdale. Okay, the chair will now entertain a motion to approve Resolution 12.01, authorizing final appropriation adjustments to the FY26 annual appropriation measure.
So move.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Peak. Dr. Morgan, could I have an explanation?
I don't have any further explanation. I don't know if Chief Stockdale, there's any thing you would add here?
This is the, as described, this is the final appropriation adjustments for funds that we've received throughout the year that the board has approved us to spend.
Great, thank you. Any further discussion from board members? Okay, Mr. Stockdale, will you please call the roll on this motion?
Mr. Billups?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Sridhar?
Yes.
Mrs. LeBron?
Yes.
Mrs. Peak?
Yes.
Mrs. Welchow?
Yes.
Motion passes with 6 votes.
Thank you. This resolution is adopted. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve Resolution 12.02, adopting the school year 2026-2027 annual appropriation measure.
Was it?
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Dr. Morgan, anything further you want to add beyond Mr. Stockdale's presentation?
No additional comments?
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion from board members? Mr. Stockdale, will you please call the roll on this motion?
Mr. Billups?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Sridhar?
Yes.
Mrs. LeBron?
Yes.
Mrs. Peak?
Yes.
Mrs. Welchow? Motion passes with 6 votes.
Thank you. This resolution is adopted. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve Resolution 12.03, providing for the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount of $220 million for the voter-approved purpose of constructing, renovating, remodeling, enlarging, furnishing, equipping, and otherwise improving school district buildings and facilities, and acquiring, clearing, equipping, and otherwise improving school district building and facility sites, authorizing and approving certain documents relating to the issuance of the bonds, and authorizing and approving related matters.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Morgan, could we have an explanation of this resolution?
Yes, with this resolution, the board approves the issuance of up to $220 million of bonds as authorized by voters in Issue 49 in the November 5th, 2024 election. Issue 49 permits the district to issue $295 million of bonds in total for services purposes, including but not limited to constructing, remodeling, furnishing, and improving school buildings and clearing school sites. The bonds are issued in multiple transactions as cash is needed in order to comply with federal law. The board previously approved the issuance of up to $100 million on April 29, 2025. The district issued an initial of $75 million in June 2025 based on projected cash flow needs last summer. The district is represented by Baker Tilly as municipal advisor and Squire Patton Boggs as bond counsel. Baker Tilly and Squire Patton Boggs have previously served the district on successful bond issuances and/or refundings. Bond proceedings are legally separated for the remainder of the budget.
Thank you, Dr. Morgan. Any questions or concerns from the board members? I have one question. Mr. Stockdale, you talked about your last slide in your presentation previously was about ratings and ratings agencies. Do those ratings have an impact on these bond issuances of some kind?
Yeah, absolutely. So when the ratings agency is evaluating the financial operations as well as just the district operations, including governance, they are determining how creditworthy a debt issuance is, much the same way it would be for a car loan or a home mortgage for us. And so when they are seeing that we are doing these difficult things that are improving our long-term sustainability, it means that effectively we are saving money. So we don't have to have taxes. The taxes can be lower to issue the debt, and it makes it easier to issue debt.
Great. Thank you. Okay, any further questions or comments? Okay, Mr. Stockdale, will you please call the roll on this motion?
Mr. Billups?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Sridhar?
Yes.
Mrs. LeBron?
Yes.
Mrs. Peak?
Yes.
Mrs. Welchow?
Even though I don't have a direct conflict, just based on the nature of the work my employer does, I'm going to abstain.
The motion passes with 5 votes and 1 abstention.
Thank you. This resolution is adopted. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve Resolution 12.04, providing for the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount of $81,890,000 for the purpose of refunding at a lower interest cost certain of the school district's school improvement bonds, Series 2015A, which were tax-exempt bonds, and/or certain of the school district's school improvement refunding bonds, Series 2023, which were issued for the voter-approved purpose of constructing, renovating, remodeling, enlarging, furnishing, equipping, and otherwise improving school district buildings and facilities, and acquiring, clearing, equipping, and otherwise improving school district building and facility sites, authorizing and directing the call for optional redemption of the refunded bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of an escrow agreement with respect to the refunding of the refunded bonds, authorizing and approving certain documents relating to the issuance of the refunding bonds and the refunding of the refunded bonds, and authorizing and approving related matters.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Dr. Morgan, could we please have an explanation of this resolution?
With this resolution, the board will be refinancing some of its bonded debt to first try to realize interest savings and to second align the property tax millage collected to the actual debt service payments and with an appropriate debt service reserve. The refinancing also preserves the district's future ability to potentially seek additional bond authority without increasing tax rates. In pursuit of these goals, or of those goals, the administration intends to refinance portions of existing bonds up to $81,890,000 of 2015A and 2023 bonds. As with the previous issue, the district is represented by Baker Tilly as a municipal advisor and Squire Patton Boggs as the bond counsel. Baker Tilly and Squire Patton Boggs have previously served the district on successful bond issuances and/or refundings.
Any discussion from board members? Mr. Stockdale, could you please explain the terminology of the refunding of refunded bonds and just
Sure.
give me some real language?
Sure. So to think back of the previous example that I gave, so I've had home mortgages before, and this operates very much like a home mortgage would. So you have a home mortgage for a period of time, and at some point during that period, there are more favorable interest rates, and so you want to take advantage of that. That's effectively what we're doing here. We also, because of the way that we're structuring this, we will be able to pay off our debt more quickly, and so those are the two main benefits that we're getting here.
Great, thank you. That's a lot more helpful than what I read.
I want to apologize for the title.
No, this is not, no, yeah, this is fine, but, that's what we need legally, but, it's also good for the public to hear actual English. Any other discussion from board members? Okay, Mr. Stockdale, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Billups?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Sridhar?
Yes.
Mrs. LeBrun?
Yes.
Mrs. Peak?
Yes.
Mrs. Welch-Howe?
For the same reason as 12.03, I'm going to abstain.
Motion passes with 5 votes and 1 abstention.
Thank you. This resolution is adopted. The board will now hold its monthly monitoring of goals and guardrails. Dr. Morgan?
All right, thank you, Dr. Sridhar. And as members of the team, I know we'll have both our members of academics team on the art side, as well as our members of our athletics team on our innovation and student experiences team coming up to the front. And I realize I need
The clicker.
the clicker. Yeah. Thank you.
I had the wrong one.
All right. We're soon going to be getting the deck up. That is not the deck. We'll have that. There we go. All right. For our final progress monitoring of the year, we're happy to bring an update on Guardrail 5, which is really around access and how we are making sure our students have more access to the enrichment opportunities of arts, athletics, in our buildings. I am grateful to the board that not only through the board goals and guardrails are we prioritizing students' academic achievement in literacy and mathematics in instruction and college readiness, but also have ensured and charged me and our team with making sure that we still have access to these enrichment opportunities that are so important for our students to thrive. So with that, we have an update on this, and we have a couple of other updates on Building Brighter Futures progress monitoring that we're doing just through this summer that we'll share as well. So just to remind the board in terms of the opportunity and access guardrail, the CEO shall not implement an academic program that fails to provide access to artistic, athletic, and career preparation opportunities for all students. And the CEO measure aligned to this is increase the percent of CMSD high schools that offer both at least 2 credit-based offerings among band, choir, drama, dance, and fine arts, and 2 sufficient athletic options to qualify for Senate League membership, which is a minimum of 2 sports per season. That's 6 sports in a school year, knowing 5 fall, winter, and spring. From the 25-26 baseline of 46.7, that's where we started the school year with, just based on our configuration, and the goal is to get to 70 based on the work that our team is doing to prepare for, we're now technically in the 26-27 school year, but officially on July 1, we'll be in the new fiscal year. So just want to give you where we are and also if we met the goal or not. So at the start of this year, the 25-26 school year, and I think this was one of the initial presentations we did with goals and guardrails, we were at a baseline of 46.7% of high schools offered both 2 credit-bearing offerings among band, choir, drama, dance, and fine arts, and also had sufficient athletic options to qualify for Senate League membership. So based on schedules for next year, so this is just based on schedules, and I also want to, as I present this, I want to make sure that you guys understand we're talking about access in terms of the offerings. We will still have more work to do to make sure enrollment is there. And so I always appreciate the push. I'm looking at Ms. LeBron. I know you always ask, like, okay, I see we have increased access. Are students really getting those opportunities, and is there equity across the board? We'll still have more work to do there. But based on schedules for next year, we expect 100% of our high schools to offer 2 credit-based based art offerings, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. And 86.7% of our high schools, this 13 out of 15, will qualify for Senate League membership. We'll talk about that in a moment. With this 86.7% of our high schools, this will meet the goal, exceeding the target of 70% that we set for the 26-27 school year. So we've met the goal, we exceeded it, and this is based on offerings. So we have access, and hear me as I say this, as we say that we have access, and a big part of our work now is to make sure we're connecting students to those opportunities. All right, so our vision for arts education. Cleveland Metropolitan School District's vision for arts education is to authentically and equitably develop and nurture each student's full creative and intellectual potential through rich and participatory experiences in the arts. The arts offer powerful tools for expression, forge connections between intellect, emotion, problem solving, communicating ideas, and bringing meaning, context, and beauty into our lives. So this is the vision that our arts education has done. And this is just talking about some of the investments we've made since 2021. We were able to make some additional investments, particularly when we had ARP ESSER dollars given after fiscal year 20 that we were able to put towards arts education. This is cumulative, this is not per year. So I just want to make that being clear that these categories you see here is cumulative since 2021. We've put about $4.5 million in band and orchestra equipment, $3.5 million in consumable art and music supplies, approximately $700,000 annually for arts and music supplies and repairs, and additional investments may grow as programs grow. So this is just the cumulative investments. What you see in the orange is visual arts, and what you see in the blue is band and orchestra. So a background, 70% of our high schools have traditionally offered at least 2 visual art classes. Increasing visual arts is simply, the work we're doing with scheduling. So right now, a big part of our strategy has been, are we scheduling this? Can we make the scheduling work? Are schools offering it? Once again, not to sound like a broken record, but access. So we're doing it through the form of making sure that students have access to these opportunities through scheduling. Music in high school space remains static for each school that added music or one subtracted music. The state of Ohio requires 1 fine arts credit to graduate, and then also the lack of middle school programs have hindered our ability to really scale. Because if students are not doing, particularly learning an instrument in some of these music programs in earlier grades, they're not going to be able to do it in high school, particularly at the competitive level that their peers are doing it at that point. This is just giving you some data from where we were just at the closeout of this past school year for 25-26. So we were doing pretty good in terms of at least one, most of our high schools offering at least 1 art course. We were at 97% this year and 70% offering more than 1 art course. As you can see for Building Brighter Futures Year 1 implementation, we're on track where 100% of our high schools will offer at least 1 and 100% will offer more than 1. So that goes back to 100% offering at least 2 of those art courses. 32% this past year offered music courses, 28% this year offered drama courses, and 10% offered dance. That will increase to 50% of our high schools offering music for this upcoming school year, 44% offering drama, and 20% offering dance. And this is based on information we have in the course catalog or anticipated on the paper scheduling that I know our schools team has been working so hard with principals to get ready for the first day of school. So some of the strategies that we've been doing, strategy 1 has been, collaborating with some of our collegiate partners to increase college credit offerings, and with the pilot side of Cleveland School of the Arts being one of those for 26-27. Identifying and training teachers for CTE, both in high school, and we've talked before about the vocational middle school that we will be doing. It's a requirement at the state that we have to have vocational ed programming in our middle school, which is our elementary schools, but in the middle grades, we have to offer that per the state. And I think we are doing that via the fine arts in all of our elementary schools for next year. So that's part of the strategy that we're doing. And then also continue to support high school electives and create middle school electives in the 7th and 8th grade continuum that promote that readiness so that students are ready to extend their learning once they get to high school because they would have had it in elementary and middle grades. So some things that are working. What has been working is common consumable supply budget. So some of those investments that you saw on an earlier slide, really setting some baseline targets of what all schools can have in terms of spending allocations in the arts. Also, high school principals and academic superintendents and short schedules, working with the schedules, the intentionality of the scheduling around art, so making it a priority. I know the team worked really hard looking at Mr. Allen out here, working with school leaders, working with our teachers union partners. Many of them were on the scheduling committees as well to figure out how do we make this work from a scheduling standpoint. And those are things that are working, and it's showing it is possible when we do collaborate and work together to ensure we have that, and making sure that the staff are in the right place. There was also a prioritization in music when we were staffing, so actually looking at the music teachers, and we prioritized that as an area that even as schools closed and there was reshuffling, there were opportunities in this upcoming year where music teachers, some of them being at the elementary level, if they had the license, they were able to go over to high schools, and vice versa, so that we can offer more courses. Starting to work, we talked about the college credit offerings in the high school space, particularly in dance and music, and having this partnership with Tri-C. This is to launch in 2026-27, this upcoming school year, and then also scheduling of those middle school electives to ensure readiness, that pipeline for students to be prepared for high school. Things that are not working, or I would say are challenges, the cadence of providing music classes in the elementary spaces. So a lot of times from a scheduling standpoint, it is once per week. Just given when students have specials from a scheduling standpoint. I know one thing that academics and schools have prioritized this year for our school leaders is that each of our K-8s will have middle school schedules for their middle school students. So we are creating much more of the switching of classes where students are doing things departmental, where there's departmentalization. So that supports it somewhat, but in some cases, if students are only able to do this special one time a week, we know that the rigor of learning an instrument or even something as disciplined as dance, if you're getting it only once per week, you're still not going to have the readiness and ability once you get to high school. So that's really a challenge. Another challenge is just high school music programs remain static over the year in terms of the number of schools and teachers. BBF partially solves for this because we've been able to consolidate, scale, have higher enrollment that allows there to be some more flexibility in scheduling, and it'll only get us so far. So I think as we continue to present on this, we get to a point where we have that access in all schools. We need to make sure students have access to the opportunities connected to do these opportunities. But if we ever get to a point where we're like, we want all students to do this, there may need to be additional discussions on either investments of like what we're talking about, like do we invest for more teachers in this area? How do we make this available from a scheduling standpoint? But we're not at that point yet, just because we first have to connect the students to the opportunities we've created. All right, so some next steps: continue to retain and recruit high-quality music instructors to reach that 70% in our high schools. We want to continue to launch and monitor those middle school electives, the work that we're doing to create those the readiness pipeline so that students can be prepared for these opportunities in high school. This is particularly taking place through the CTE vocational middle school programs that we're doing. And then also expand and recruit through all city arts and other different partnerships where students are getting exposed to these opportunities and really getting a hunger for it so that it's driving what they want to do and continue to do this work when they get to high school. All right, now switching to athletics, and of course, once we're done with the presentation, we'll open up to questions on either on the art side or the athletic side. The vision for athletics and student activities, now this is under the new Innovation and Student Experiences Division, formerly Excellence and Culture, but Innovation and Student Experiences. And the vision here is to empower students to become 21st century scholar athletes / participants through the development of character, ethics, intellect, and leadership. So just talking a little bit about what requires compliance for the OHSAA. This is our state athletic association. And when we think about our Senate League sports, which is primarily Cleveland Metropolitan School District's ability to compete in these state association games, this is what would make a school being in compliance. So we talked about offering the 6 sports annually. That is 2 sports per season, fall, winter, spring, and competing in one sanctioned sport, more than one sanctioned sport per season. Meet minimum 50% participation thresholds per sport. And as of May 2025, one of the requirements that OHSAA has given schools is that if schools are not meeting this 6 at any given point in time, they go into probationary status. So we've had times where schools have gone into probation or on probationary status. You'll see some of the school programs we're trying to grow. Well, one of the school programs we're trying to grow for next year in Benjamin O. Davis, you'll see that starting in probationary status. You have to start there in order for it to grow. And in 25-26, all 12 Senate League schools met the OHSAA requirements. In a moment, you're going to see, even though all 12 met those requirements, we had more than 12 high schools this past year. In the future, we're excited that cheerleading will now be considered an OHSAA sport. We have this in many of our schools, and this is also working to grow this is one of the ways we're actually meeting this requirement in many of our schools. Girls flag football, which is continuing to grow. We've had it in a couple of our schools. I know we featured it, I think it was at Rhodes this past year. This will also be an OHSAA sport. In 26-27, we'll have 11 schools competing and Senate schools meeting the OHSAA requirement. Benjamin O. Davis, as we talked about, which is in probationary status, we're growing that sports program. They didn't have sports before, but we're growing that this year. It's going to replace Collinwood by 27-28, so we'll be back to 12 Senate League schools. This is last year versus this year, and we had done some work with sports over time by having a policy that even though a lot of our schools, per se, being small schools, did not offer sports, what we did was we had a policy that if students lived, let's say they went to a school that didn't offer sports, but they lived near a school that offered sports, we allowed students to participate. So in the past, we had been able to have some offerings at some of our high schools, but we had many of our schools that had no offerings. This upcoming year, as you will see in the green, almost all of our high schools are offering Senate League sports and will be Senate League eligible, meeting these requirements we talked about on the other page. As I mentioned before, Benjamin O. Davis this upcoming year will be on probationary status. Now, you see GIN you see GIN at the bottom on both of these, which is interesting because GIN is one of those where by the way we have set up GIN is a school where we do not have sports at GIN per se. Most of our students, because they live in near Glenville, they participate in sports at Glenville High School, and that's how it's set up. But also, if they live near other high schools, they can have it set up that way. We will continue doing that for the upcoming year. So GIN itself does not have a team. But as you guys know, many of our GIN students participate in Glenville sports and are really successful. So they are one that is there. And then also noting Natividad Pagan is another one that we have work to do. It is a school that if students live near a school, they can choose to participate in sports. I would love it if in the future Natividad Pagan has its own athletic and sport offerings as well. So GIN is noted on both of these. It's one of those where it is a highly successful program through Glenville and probably will never have its own sports team, but we can do some work through Natividad Pagan. And you can see last year there were several schools that just did not have any sports, Campus International High School, Davis, Digital, or any that were Senate League, MC Squared, STEM, as well as Natividad Pagan. So we have improved this metric, and we're now at 86.7. This also excludes data for Cleveland Remote School and School of One, which personally that will be something I will also want to say, how are we ensuring students that are even in a remote environment are still being connected to extracurricular activities. So there's still some more work to do there. We just excluded that data here because there's more study we would have to do. Okay, all right, so strategies for improvement in athletics: coordinate with the Senate schools to offer a minimum of 8 to 9 OHSAA recognized sports. So this is not just getting right at the minimum, but really making sure that there are more offerings. And then also when we say offerings, making sure that the offerings are both where all students can participate. They're not just one single gender sport, but all students, so they're inclusive of all students. We want healthier, now that we have that healthier school enrollment in many of our high schools, this actually enables us to have many different levels of competitive play. Our high schools were so small before that many of our high schools only competed in varsity. And we know that if students have, in some cases in larger schools, you have a freshman team, a JV team, and a varsity team, that is also helps students for competitive play. It also gives students more activities, and it also increases the offering. So now that we will have healthier enrollment, larger school enrollments, it does give us that ability to have this differentiation, and this is one of the strategies I know our athletic team is doing. There's work we can do from a policy standpoint, because right now I know that there's a lot of encouragement that our schools can do this, and how are we ensuring that our schools that have the enrollment are offering multiple levels of play. We have to continue to recruit and retain high school girls flag football for the 26-27 school year. That's another strategy. And then, support making sure as Benjamin O. Davis is part of that probationary status year, really making sure there's a lot of heavy support there. That's a school community that is coming together. It's the first year that they'll be participating in these sports. How do we really support them to really make sure we maintain students being excited for these programs, but also giving them the development that they need. Also launching the middle school and high school boys and girls basketball all-star games for 26-27. That also creates excitement in that pipeline that we're looking for. And boys volleyball, middle school athletes doing visitation to high school games to spark interest for the 27-28 school year, once again creating those pipelines. So the more exposure we give students earlier, the more that our students will be ready for it as they move forward. All right, just some quick hits on Building Brighter Futures updates that I wanted to share with you that are related to some of the work that our team has been doing. Some on school culture and creating welcoming environments. We shared this the last board meeting. But we have a goal that 100% of our schools impacted by Building Brighter Futures would have implemented culture building activities for students and staff, and that 100% of those schools would have submitted plans for their student, staff, and family engagement activities to their academic superintendents, as well as 100% of the calendared event documentation showing that they actually have done the event for student, staff, and families. So where we are, 100% of those schools have had these events for students and staff, as well as family events. So these are in our K-8s. These have taken place, and you see some of the pictures. We presented this in May. And then our high schools have also had these students at staff events as well as family events as well to bring communities together. One of the things we shared when this was a question, I think the last time, the participation, it varied at these events. So one of the things you will be seeing when we get to our Guardrail 3, as we are evolving the work we're doing now, is to really make sure we're tracking engagement, we're tracking parent participation. But it did vary at these different schools, but 100% of the schools that were impacted in both the K-8s and the high schools had these events for both students, staff, as well as for families. We also had end-of-year school merging events. Those were from school dances that took place. We had some school communities that did prom together, some staff events that came together, and these are just some of the pictures that took place at the end of the school year. We also had professional development where there was school building culture. This started in the February professional development and continued throughout the end of the year through those transition teams coming together to figure out how school communities can continue to come together and merge and plan for the year. Some of the goals that teams have been doing to prepare for professional development this summer, continuing to really make sure that there's a plan for sustaining a strong culture and opening up the year strong, analyzing those exemplar 30-day playbooks to develop that 30-day school culture plan. We know the first month of school will be really critical for all of our schools, but particularly those school communities that are coming together. And then really making sure that there are those clear roles and responsibilities for supporting the merging of the school communities coming together. One of the things I know our school teams have been working with principals on, not only just for this upcoming year, but they did this last year, those minute-by-minute plans to really ensure that there's intentionality with what students are doing every step of the way, as well as their school scheduling, and then also strengthening those leadership team culture, the work that is taking place. So there's been a lot of summer professional development underway. There was some today at Arnold Pinckney. Particularly, I saw a lot of school leaders and also some teachers there for, I think it was ELA. I don't know if math was out there as well, but there was curriculum professional development that is taking place, that is ongoing as we prepare for the start of the school year. Also, in preparation, Summer Bridge, and this is something that was identified. We know that you guys have charged us with the goal of chronic absenteeism in 9th grade and how we are ensuring we are decreasing chronic absenteeism in ninth grade. And one of the strategies that was identified was in making sure that there is a strong start to high school. This was identified as a strategy that worked. There were some high schools that had done this in the past, but this is the first time where we're doing this across all the high schools for the start of this year to support that transition from 8th grade to 9th grade. So from August 10th through 13th, I'm really excited that we're doing this. I remember when I started high school that this was something that I had to do as part of starting high school, and so I'm glad that we'll be doing this for our 9th graders. August 10th through the 13th from 9 a.m. to noon, we'll be having these summer bridge programs. We have staff that are involved in this work, students that are facilitating some of these workshops, some of our student leaders, as well as our student ambassadors, and various district teams from athletics to our fine arts to transportation to Say Yes Family Support, school nutrition. These are all the teams that are coming together to share information about the upcoming school year. The daily schedule, you can see some of the work that we're doing here, just some opening activities at culture building so that they get to be familiar with their future classmates as a cohort, and then also some rotating sessions. Some of that will be just understanding high school, getting used to high school, getting used to their school community, as well as some academic readiness as well. And then closing reflection, lunch and dismissal. So this is the work that we're doing. As you can see, some of the session topics, GPA, understanding credits, model ELA lessons, and so forth and so on, model math lessons, lockers. Particularly since not all of our schools have lockers, the elementary schools have lockers, you will be surprised how many students do not know how to open up a locker when they're coming to high school. It seems small, but it's really important they get that strong start. So really excited that we're doing the Summer Bridge program this year. And those are our updates.
Thank you, Dr. Morgan. Thank you, Dr. Morgan. Any discussion or questions from the board? Ms. Peak?
Yes, I'm going to go back to the arts. I know that in the past it has been a challenge for some of our students to have instruments. So my question to you is, it could have been touched upon, but I just want to bring it back today. How are we providing instruments to our students? Are we having any community partners? I know Kevin Conwell is collecting. And then again, how can the community, if they have some, things that, instruments that they haven't used for a while that could be beneficial to our school districts. I just want to know how that can happen, to make sure all of our kids have access to those instruments.
Yeah, Mr. Allen.
Certainly, thank you for that question. And one, we're also grateful to Councilman Conwell and his work around the Play It Forward initiative, which is in collaboration with several of our arts partners to make sure that instruments and training can get into the hands of kids. However, we did leverage our ARP ESSER dollars to ensure that every school was outfitted with identical sets of musical instruments that allows for each school to have up to 70 kids playing an instrument. And this was done in collaboration with our teachers to identify the highest frequency instruments. Just as a fun anecdote about that, we bought more bassoons in a year than they manufacture. So it's an opportunity. It's just the opportunity to have kids get those instruments, and then we have a robust bond program where if a student is really working on the instrument, they can sign that instrument out and take it home with them, even over the summer.
Okay, I look forward to being invited to some of the concerts.
Do we buy the double reeds to go along with the bassoons?
We do in fact buy reeds, and B flat clarinet is the one we go through the most.
There we go.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. LeBron?
I'm really excited about the Summer Bridge program. I'm also thinking about other positive impacts that could happen from the Summer Bridge program. I'm thinking hopefully a decrease in chronic absenteeism, because they're gonna create a sense of stickiness to their high school by actually participating in a program like this. So I hope that the students take you up on this offer and actually participate. You talked about, while I know the guardrail is written around access when it comes to providing opportunities for art, I do want to raise the point, and you mentioned that you already knew it was coming, that, I think that while we now have access and a schedule, we also need to talk about how are our counselors being prepared to have informed conversations with our students to talk to them about the benefits of participating in these art courses that are scheduled. What was it, the vision for the arts education, the very last line in that statement really talked about a lot of the soft skill development that you get from participating in the arts. And if we're preparing our students for the workforce or for post-secondary education, I think the way that we talk about and inform our community about how valuable the arts can be is important. And so I just want to make sure that that's being thought about, and counselors are being trained on how to have these conversations now that there is access to these programs.
Definitely point taken.
Mr. Billups?
Thank you, Dr. Sridhar. Dr. Morgan and team, I just got a couple, hopefully quick questions. The first kind of question that kind of popped into my head, in regards to the events, the cultural events, I just wanted to ask, are the schools able to share? Sometimes a lot of things are based in the messaging and what's shared. Are those events being widely shared, social media, so that people can see and know what's going on in their communities?
Yeah, I'll call on, I don't know if Ms. Frew has that information, or Chief Pharmacology has to share how schools start to share that. We'll start with Ms. Frew.
So these events have happened already. They were shared via social media, through IVR messaging, letters home to the parents, for the families. And then for the student events, in several cases, we also informed the families that they were going to happen during the school day. So the example I like to use, one of the best events that we had, was when Hannah Gibbons and Memorial did their event. They had like a bouncy house, the whole nine, during the day, and they sent home messaging to the families so that the families could also come and participate with their kiddos. So it was a lot of fun. And I think some of the pictures, I think that bottom one is from the Hannah Gibbons event.
Yeah. Then I don't know if this question was kind of asked or answered already, but kind of around the access to the arts and the sports, but specifically for our special education students. Will they generally have opportunity to participate in some level of sports or arts programs during the school year? That'll be.
Yeah. All of our programs are offered to all students, and yeah, I see we have both. I was going to say Mr. Brown, Ms. Powell, and Mr. Allen. I was having it mixed up. They could speak more specifically to this, and then also just thinking we can also bring data on, just demographic data of some of the students and the offerings that they're participating in. But we'll start with Mr. Allen.
Sure, and consistent with state law and national law, students are in the least restrictive environment with their age-appropriate peers, regardless of the class. And I will just share one anecdote of a particular teacher at then Mary Bethune, who, with a self-contained class, found the correct adaptive tool that allowed students to play the ukulele as as an introductory instrument, and they were able to achieve at a high level just from that one simple tool. One of the challenges we continue to do, and we keep working with our partners to figure out, is what are the right tools and what are the right professional developments and trainings to continue to increase that access and meet the needs of students in a proactive, not reactive way.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. For sports, a lot of our schools, we are in collaboration with Special Olympics, so a lot of our students participate through the Special Olympics, but then there's also a program that we started in athletics for Learn to Swim, or at least exposure to water, and a lot of those students for the first time are getting into the water and learning movements and learning how to potentially survive if they were to be in the water. So we go from that extreme to as well as Special Olympics. So there is opportunity.
Thanks you all so much. And I kind of asked that question just so that publicly is well known to families that these are opportunities that their child can participate in and take advantage of. Thank you. I'm sorry, bear with me a quick second.
And Mr. Billups, while you're looking up your question, just a quick comment. Shout out to the Special Olympics. As as the community probably realizes, 2030, Cleveland will be home to Special Olympics. I really hope that we, as a community, make it a priority to get our kids to go watch and be a part of that experience.
Yes, indeed.
I didn't have no more questions.
Thank you, Mr. Billups. I just have one more comment, just to piggyback on Ms. LeBrun's question about access versus enrollment. Yes, talking to counselors and working through that is a good idea, but I also hope that we spend time as a district through our social media channels, through other advertising channels, just getting the message out to parents and families, the importance of arts education, the importance of why it's important, why it's a good idea for young people of all ages to be in art and music and dance lessons. So, thank you. Okay, any other questions, comments on the board? Thank you, Dr. Morgan, for this monitoring report. Any old business to come before the board? Any new business?
Nice job, Dr. Sridhar.
Say again?
Nice job.
Oh, thank you. I'm not done yet. There's still more to come. So I'm still not done reading. Thank you. The next regular board meeting will be a board business meeting on Tuesday, August 11th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. at Arnold Pinckney East Professional Center. The chair will now entertain a motion that the board enter into executive session for the purpose of considering the appointment and employment of public employees and officials, preparing for negotiations with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions for employment, conferring with attorneys concerning disputes involving the Board of Education that are the subject of pending or imminent court action, and considering confidential information related to negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance, where the information is directly related to a request for economic development assistance that is to be provided or administered under Ohio Revised Code, Section 5709.62, and that a unanimous quorum of the board determines that this executive session is necessary to protect the interests of the applicant or the possible investment or expenditure of public funds to be made in connection with the economic development project.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. This motion will require a unanimous vote. Mr. Stockdale, will you please call the roll on this motion?
Mr. Billups?
So, yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Sridhar?
Yes.
Mrs. LeBrun? Yes. Mrs. Peak? Yes. Mrs. Welchow? Yes. Motion passes with 6 votes.
Thank you. I acknowledge that the vote was unanimous. The board will now move into executive session. Following executive session, the board will return to this room to briefly conduct some further business.
This is our annual Rock Your World with STEAM Festival. This is our first year partnering with the City of Cleveland, and we are thrilled to be at Public Hall. And right now what you are experiencing are multiple musical acts, from orchestra to band to marching band to, we just had it finished with our African drumming with Brother Olu. And we have art displays in the basement. We have multiple community partners and vendors here all day.
We
have our mega body behind us, but we were talking about mental health awareness and again, bringing forth the importance of understanding your body from head to toe. So we have the yoga, we have medical masseuse down doing massages. For individuals, it doesn't always mean a person needs medicine, but they might need different methods and outlets of attaining wellness. So we're bringing it all today.
So as a culmination of learning throughout the year, this is the perfect opportunity for our teachers and our scholars to showcase what they've been doing. When you think about music, for example, it takes almost a year to really get to the level that you need to be able to perform. Nearly every school has some form of participation in this, whether it's through the All-City program or by tabling on their own to display what they're doing. This is truly an all-school, all-city event, and it's a celebration of every grade level, K through 12. It's the best day of the year. This is when we get to celebrate our kids and to celebrate our families, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be.
We are here for you. You were nominated by the academics team to receive an award from the Harvard Business School Alumni Association of Northeast Ohio, Excellence in School Leadership and Management. They give 2 awards. They give 2 awards to 2 extraordinary leaders in Northeast Ohio. You are one of them. And we thank you for all the work you do, not only here at Garrett Morgan for the scholars here, but also by representing the school leaders across our district. You do it fearlessly. You represent our educators and teachers. You advocate for them. And we just are grateful for your leadership. So excited for you. Congratulations. Scholars and educators, give your principal a round of applause.
So when you are late to school, like, how does it make you feel? Do you feel like you're missing part of your day or you're trying to play catch up? Like, how does it make you feel when you come to school late?
It just makes it a little bit harder to understand where we at and in school. I live in a Huff neighborhood, which is on the east side of Cleveland, and go to school on the west side. So I take 2 buses to get to school, and it usually takes about an hour. And maybe if there's like something going on in the road, traffic jams or something, it'll take off some time, so it'll take even longer to get to school. I have to get to school on time so I can be able to pass, get the credits that I need to be able to graduate. I got world history first period, so it's kind of hard to catch up in that class because we doing pasting, so we moving, and it's no point in coming back for just 1 student. It's important to get to school on time because you will be able to meet new people, learn things like that you never knew. Get to school.
One of our students, they did something special for someone in the community. And so we get all these people here to celebrate and to recognize what Allison did for someone in her community.
That morning while boarding the school bus, you noticed a small child wandering alone on the street, wearing only a t-shirt. Recognizing the danger the child was in, you immediately alerted the bus driver and took action to help. I want to give you a First District Commander's coin. It's got a 1 on the front for the First District and the seal of the Cleveland Division of Police on the back.
And I saw a little girl walk out and the bus driver was about to hit her.
And so what did you say to the bus driver?
I was like, stop. And then he told me, who is that? Is that your niece? I was like, no, that's not my niece. And then I went off the bus to go grab her.
It shows a great deal of awareness and maturity for her age. Most kids, like you say, they're on the bus, they're talking, they're on their phone, you know, and the fact that she noticed, she paid attention, you know, to what was going on at that particular time is just, you know, amazing.
I think it's very important because, you know, we're a community. We work together, we help each other, and that's how we get things done, and she's already doing that. Children can teach us a lot, and I think she did. Be aware, look around, help people when you see them in need.
I don't really care about the gifts because it was just the point to save somebody, anybody that need help.
You go to the website, you type in the access code, and you're in. Your kids' pictures are there, and you could easily, I have kids at 2 different schools, you can easily switch from school to school and keep up on top of it.
Everything's right there. Like, everybody always has their phone with them, so you can easily access it to your phone.
It's a relief for me knowing that my child has the best chance that they can, knowing every day they wake up, they can go to school and, take advantage of the day.
The Board of Education's job is to make sure that the right adult behaviors are in place so that students can learn and grow in school every day.
I hope to motivate the scholars in some form of and capacity, really to make sure that they're inspired by the work that we do for them. This is a job of service, a fully volunteer role, but the people that are serving on the board, myself included, are doing it out of passion and pure hope of the scholars' futures. And so I hope that they start to believe in themselves the same way that we believe in them.
Having been an educator all my life, I thought I would have a significant role to play in shaping what our young people and young scholars and our future leaders are going to be doing with their education. I believe in paying it forward, and I still believe I am paying it forward for myself.
I am an inveterate volunteer, and so I saw this as an opportunity to give back to the Cleveland community and try to make a difference.
I enjoy being engaged with people in my neighborhood, hearing from them, learning what they think about different things, hearing suggestions, hearing thoughts, even the complaints. I enjoy engaging with the students, and I think that's my role with being a board member, is engaging with the community in every way possible.
I'm out there every day talking to people, sitting on every community work group that you can think of. What I want to accomplish is that we level up the opportunities for our children to receive the best education possible. And I want you to be able to discover all the goodness in you, because we all have something that is unique about us. So we want to give you the opportunity to explore that and make good decisions once you leave the school system.
I believe that this district can be a premier district, and I'd love to be remembered for pushing a standard of excellence.
I wanted to give back to the school system that I participated in from kindergarten to graduating senior. I'm hoping to make a difference, have a positive impact, and see the test scores and graduation rates increase. I also hope to inspire other CMSD alum to give back to CMSD with their time and support.
I'm grateful to interact with so many wonderful people, brilliant individuals who have the capabilities and skill sets to really make our city even greater. And I'm just honored to be a part of the plan of the CMSD and the service of this community.
As a kid myself, I moved around a lot and I went to a lot of different schools. And what I saw firsthand is that all children are born equal with the same rights to education, but not all schools are created equal. And some schools have more resources than others, some schools have more of the right practices than others, and I wanted to be a part of making sure that our school system was the right system for our children so they could have the education that they deserve.
We all have different skill sets, different experiences, different backgrounds that we all bring to the table when it's time for us to have these discussions. We bring different perspectives and different life experiences. And so being able to sit at the table with other leaders in our community and people who actually are invested in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District system, it means that we're providing different perspectives. We're looking at it from different lenses and different angles, which is also representative of our community, right?
Our students achieving everything that they possibly can, achieving and striving towards our goals and guardrails that our board laid out. I think that, producing students that can enter the world in whatever way they choose to and be successful is really the only thing to accomplish from my perspective.
Most importantly is increasing student outcomes. So we have our challenges, but my board colleagues and I and Dr. Morgan and his incredible staff are heavily focused on that, and we're going to do everything in our power to make it happen.
My favorite quote is Man in the Arena, actually. It's by former President Teddy Roosevelt, and it's really about not paying attention to the critics. It's not the critic who counts, it's not the person on the sidelines, it's the person who's getting dusty in the arena every single day and getting back up again and again and again, even after failure. And even if you fail at something, at least you failed by daring greatly. But the only way to be great is to try.
Today it is the last scrimmage to find out who goes to state. It has been a really great journey. It's different learning about STEM and like robotics and tech.
My favorite part about building the robot is all the teamwork it takes. The teamwork, I feel like it brings our team together, and I really like that part.
The robot has to launch artifacts, which is similar to a ball. So they're launching it into a pyramid type situation and get those points. And then you have to line your robot in a certain order to get points. It's a lot of challenges in depth in getting points.
Our robot, it took us a lot of time to really build it. It took a lot of patience. We came across many problems and challenges, like our chain kept breaking, so we had to find a lot of solutions to that problem. And it was a lot of gracious professionalism used.
This is their thing, and they really take it seriously, and they come out and they try, and you just, like this morning, one of my girls did something in one of the presentations, and I started to tear up because I was just so proud of them because I've never seen this child do this, and she just blossomed right in front of me.
Hi, I'm Darielle Snipes with CMSD Communications. Today, I am so excited. I am hanging out with two of the Senate League girls flag football teams, John Hay and Rhodes. This sport is gaining popularity. Right now, CMSD has 7 teams. I'm so excited to learn more about flag football. Let's go. Joining me now is head coach of the John Hay ladies flag football team, Coach Vanetta Kreider. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I know this is an exciting sport. It's a growing sport. It just got sanctioned by the Ohio High School Athletic Association. That's exciting news. Yes. So now your girls can go for state championships. Yes. But you know, some of us were brand new to flag football. Tell me, what is the difference between flag football and just basic football?
The difference for flag football and basic football for our girls is that we actually get to compete this year. Outside of only using flags and not be able to contact each other, and we have to wear mouthpieces.
Okay, but just talk about the growing popularity of this girls sport and how exciting it is, especially here in CMSD and the Senate League.
Yes, right now it means that girls flag football is now recognized by OSHA. So now we get more opportunities to get school funding. So luckily we're a Division I school, so we had about 40 girls that come and try out. So this year we were expecting even more.
I mean, what do you think about that more girls want to play football?
I'm excited. I'm excited to teach them and for them to want to be competitive and lead and get outside of their comfort zone.
The fact that it's, you know, when people think about football, they think about it as a male-dominated sport. The fact that flag football, especially girls flag football, is taking off, it gives young ladies an opportunity to play what once was known as a male-dominated sport. Can you just talk about that opportunity for them?
Yes, it now gives the girls a platform to compete and lead, and we're breaking stereotypes and proving that football isn't just for boys. Anybody can play as long as you got the passion and the skill for it.
And joining me now are 2 players from the girls flag football team at Rhodes. Welcome. Tell me your names and what grade you're in.
I'm Aaliyah. I go to Rhodes Environmental Studies and I'm in 10th grade.
My name is Naya. I go to RCCA and I'm in 10th grade.
Wonderful. So just tell me, because I don't know, I'm learning, what is the difference between flag football and football?
Well, flag football and regular football, we already know it's not as much contact, but there's a lot you can do. Like the quarterback can't run.
The ball is smaller, less people on the field, so it gives. And flag is it's quick. It's not like football. Football you have more time. Flag is quick, and you have like less time.
Okay, and then you also have the flags. Yeah. How hard or easy is it to get another opponent's flag?
It depends on how fast the person is moving.
Yeah, definitely.
And what moves they're pulling out. But usually, if you're catching up to the person, it's very easy. They're not hard to pull or nothing, so.
So tell me, why did you guys want to join the team?
Well, I wanted to join the team because ever since I was very young, I always played regular football with my brothers. And when I got older, I realized it was something I always wanted to do. In 2023, I played flag football with boys, but then I got scouted for a girls team, and we went all the way to nationals in Las Vegas and won a championship ring there. And then when I came here, there was no flag football team, so I asked if I could play tackle. but my mom wouldn't let me. And then I found out later on we had a flag football team, and I was like, oh, this is my sport, so I'm definitely going to play.
I also feel like a sport that was really made for boys that girls never really got the opportunity to play. When I saw it at Rose, I feel like a sport that was always classified as like a boys sport, girls being able to play, I feel like that was really cool. So I really wanted to take that opportunity to play. And also, Coach O'Neill, she really inspired me to play. She was the assistant basketball coach, and it really gave me something to do. And now it's something I really would do the rest of my years in high school and see where it takes me.
Right, so this is the second season for the team. Just talk about how fun it is and just the team camaraderie that you ladies have.
It was very fun. Like, in the first year, it was some rough patches, but we always got through it. Our coach, she's a very great coach because she is like more informational about flag football than basketball. So when she is out here, she put her heart on the field just like we do.
Yeah, Coach O'Neill, she really great. She keeps us all lifted up. Like, something could go wrong, and she was always bringing the joy. It was like, our first year was really fun. We went real far, and just seeing where it took us, it made me excited for the next season to come. Like, what we gonna bring to the table. And flag, like, I didn't expect it to be, like, I thought it was just gonna be something to do. But when we actually started playing, I'm like, this is fun. Like, it's really fun.
Now, another difference is that flag football is played in the spring and not in the fall like regular football. Well, can you just talk about the fact that now it is a sanctioned sport, and so now you guys can go for a state championship? Just talk about you guys could be the state champs.
That's very exciting to me because, like I said, I always love football in general. So for me to have this opportunity to probably ever get scholarships to play in college is just like something I want to achieve.
I think that's really good. Like, it opens up more opportunities for the girls and gives girls something to do, because we always, as a girl, we always like doubt it, or we don't always get as much opportunity, so it just opens the door for girls sports.
Now it's still, even though you guys don't have pads and a helmet, it still can be tough. I mean, it's still it's still a contact sport, would you not say?
Like, you're definitely gonna fall. You're definitely gonna
get bumps.
But it's fun.
Yes, it's very exciting.
All right, well, thank you, ladies.
What you see before you is a culmination of 2.5 years of work. But moreover, there was 86 years of blood, sweat, and tears put forth by men and women who comprise the Tuskegee experiment. Let history show that in the course of human endeavor, that never have so many owed so much to so few.
My first reaction was it looked a lot better than I did it in class. It took a lot, and it's just, I'm proud to see that it's up there, and I'm glad everyone else can see it too. I think it's good that the Tuskegee Airmen get their word out and their faces out because they helped this world, and I'm glad that I was able to help them represent it. I seen everyone do their painting in class. I seen like their entire process through it, and now looking at it inside the airport, it's like, wow, they did that. That's amazing.
My name is Lori Lane, and this is my father, Earl Roscoe Lane. He was with the 332nd of the Tuskegee Airmen. I think they did a fantastic job in doing it. I know when I was speaking to a group of them, they said they did a lot of research on it, but they were so open to listening and to learning more, so that we have more young people that are able to display their talent, learn, and it's one, as a teacher, I know it's one of the greatest ways for students to learn, and for this will stay with them for the rest of their lives.
When I say food is, you say medicine. Food is, woo! Give it up, yay!
So what we have going on here today is a Meet the Farmer event. So we have this year partnered with 4 Cleveland growers that grow the vegetables that are on the salad bars that are in some of our schools. And the students can meet the farmer. Today we have Farmer Sarah and Farmer Jamel, and they get to meet the farmer that grows their food. They can ask them questions. We have trading cards, and the students get to try the produce items that the farmers grow, and it just encourages them to try something new, to eat fresh vegetables, and they can meet the farmer, and then they get to vote on if they like the produce item or not, and they get fun stickers, and we have if they write on the board of what they liked about the product.
This is one of the youngest demographics that we can have an influence on, and when you're talking about school lunches,
this is food that they're going to be eating daily for a majority of the year, right? And so to be able to introduce local foods on a daily basis to students within the Cleveland area is just evolutionary.
We're talking about the benefits of fresh foods and also the difference between local fresh foods and those you might get, say, at a grocery store that might have been shipped from all over the country or world to get to your plate, often picked months and months earlier and don't have the same level of nutrition or flavor. So giving them that experience of eating something that was grown locally and why that's so important and why it's so important to grow your own food.
It was kind of sour. It was sour. And that was my first time ever trying that, but it had a pretty color.
So today we started on our robots. Well, we started on our robots like 2 days ago, but today we added like our finishing touches. And we made them waterproof with pool noodles. We attached motors to them with wax in it so it's waterproofed. And those motors spin at a very high speed, so it can propel itself through the water and able to do its tasks. It's so cool because usually robots are like on the surface, right? This time it's underwater, which makes it harder to see, but more funner because like you don't know what's gonna happen.
The machine itself, you can program it first from your computer. Once you access, this is via Bluetooth. Basically you can control it from there and automate it wherever program you want to, set it at a specific time. Experiencing all of this, I've actually had a lot of fun being able to come up here and just learn about a machine. And I've personally been part of a robotics team, so being able to experience a machine automating other stuff like agriculture is a really good experience. I had a lot of fun.
So I just got to Cleveland. I just wanted to come out and see y'all. We working out every day. We got a purpose. We got something we trying to accomplish and achieve. But I'm trying to bring Cleveland, of course, a Super Bowl. What inspires me to keep going, I would say, knowing I got a lot of people watching me, knowing that I'm a positive influence to the youth. That's why I say what keeps me going. So like even coming here, seeing y'all.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, no beeping, hold that up.
When the kids walk through the door, there's a personal relationship here. So immediately they have a connection with an adult as soon as they've entered the building.
Typical day at James Ford Roads is being active with the kids, trying to be proactive with the kids before it becomes reactive.
Sometimes we have to stop and counsel or assist a student that might be going through something when they came in this morning.
I greet the students, make sure the hall is clear, interact, ask them how their day was going, walk through, interact with the parents, the community, the mailman, the neighbors across the street. They familiar with me because I'm outside, I'm greeting with them.
I try to walk around, try to help the kids. I'm not trying to police them as a security officer. Can't do that. You try to help them in every way possible, and that's what I do. I'm a resource for them.
Going through the detectives, in the long run, I hear them say, boy, if it wasn't for y'all doing that, this, that, and so they really do like that detective, but just knowing that you in the halls.
And the students see that, and they see how I, if they beep or they see how I go through their bags, I don't play, so they feel safe. They be like, oh, there go Miss Campbell, when they fear something, they come straight, Miss Campbell, so-and-so, and I'll be like, okay. So that makes me feel that, they see that I'm serious about my job,
I have noticed if we're referencing the phone collection, a lot of the students are interacting more with one another instead of just being stuck on their phones. They've started to build relationships with one another and do different things that last year and the year before that we weren't actually noticing anymore.
Especially with how we do the yonder cases, bringing in, securing book bags, making sure that no items or weapons are brought into school. I think it makes students and scholars feel much more comfortable, much more safe.
When the kids come through, they understand there are necessary things that have to happen. But when the officers treat them in that way, like human beings, and make them feel special, they're not thinking so much about those things. They're thinking about the relationship they're building. It's the most important thing for everyone in a building, is that relationship you have with kids. And if it's positive, usually you're going to get positive results. Not all the time, but more often than not.
I would do it all over again for anybody. Hi, I'm Trisha Page, and I'm a first grade teacher at Andrew J. Rickoff. I had a couple students that were having lunch in the classroom with me that day. I was sitting at my table, like here in the back of the room, and her back was toward me this way.
So when I was eating my taco, I tried to dip my other one in the meat and cheese, but when it went to my throat, I choked on it.
She was choking, and she was making the choking. Her hands were on her throat, and there was no sound whatsoever. I got up, ran to her, told the other teacher to go run and get the nurse. She was sitting in her seat, so
when she told me to get up, my ears, they did this.
I went underneath of her armpits here. I picked her up, I stood her up, and I started doing the Heimlich on her. And she was silent for a minute, and it was really scary. I don't know who was more scared, if she was more scared or if I was more scared. But eventually she started crying and making sound.
She deserves a reward. Thank you for saving my life.
You're welcome. And I would do it all over again.
The Wake Up Cafe was created to give the students real-world experiences promoting communication, social, and life skills, and also to help the students gain independence and confidence.
We're also helping our students build independence and prepare them for future vocational opportunities. We have students that leave us and go on to high school, and when they get into a lot of our high school programs, they also have opportunities similar to this, and this prepares them to step into that role with some experience and some skills.
The students empower themselves by gaining pride and confidence through their roles. They are speaking up, they're supporting each other, they're problem solving, and it's empowering to see them step into their leadership roles and show what they're capable of.
I feel like coming to the Wake Up Cafe, we're able to see the capabilities of autistic individuals, and it helps to support inclusiveness.
It's a really great way to break down misconceptions and celebrate what's possible.
This year's competition is water theme based. How the competition goes is there's a reef. And of course, if you see on the thing, they're like the purple, it looks like a reef. And then we have the coral. The coral is basically like this, like a white pipe. And then the algae is a ball. And basically, to score points, your robot have to put algae onto the reef.
Each aligns 3 separate robotics teams. So it would be us and 2 different robotics teams that are just randomly picked to work with us. Usually before a match, we'll meet up with those 2 other robotics teams and we'll talk to them about strategy and what their robot can do and what ours can do. And usually we work together to kind of figure out the best game plan.
There's a autonomous ranking point, which is all 3 robots move off of a starting line, and then at least 1 robot scores 1 coral anywhere on the reef.
To build the robot, it takes like the whole team, which is about 20 people. And then we need people to program the robot, people to wire the robot. But once we have it all built and on the field, we only need 1 person to control the drive and 1 person to control the elevator and score. We also have a 3rd person who tells them what to do and looks at the whole field and is in charge of strategy.
The main challenge was just building the robot overall. It took about 10 weeks to build. It took a lot of teamwork and cooperation to build such a beautiful machine, and it also helped us learn new machines that normal high schoolers hasn't used before, including mills, CNC machines, long drills, and just all kinds of different things.
This is actually one of the biggest competitions here in Ohio, and it's very diverse, so we'll be competing against some of the top competition today.
This season, this is our last regional.
So we participated in Miami Valley, and this will be our last for this season. Our goal is to go home with a blue banner.
I've noticed observing the students' mental health is very important for the safety of the staff as well as everyone in the building.
A lot of our students feel comfortable talking to staff. Many staff members just kind of serve as just a listener, and they counsel where they can.
I've been with the district for almost a year now, so I know mostly everybody's names now. Everybody know my name. So me engaging with the kids, I'm just like an older sister to them. They come to talk to me about anything, and then we all been young before, so we know how it go.
Just talking to the scholars, just asking them questions, just something simple as how is their day going, how are they feeling, even something as simple as asking them have they ate in the morning, just trying to keep that open line of communication with them, building a level of trust.
And so safety at school definitely matters. Safety en route home from school also matters as well, because if where students are concerned about that, the closer you get to that time, that's where the attention is going to be, even when they're sitting in the classroom.
If the kids don't feel safe, if the climate and culture for them is not safe, then they're not going to be engaged and they're not going to perform well on their tests. And so we don't want them to be in that situation, so we want them to know that we are here for you to support you in a mental capacity. And if you feel safe coming to school, then it should produce some great results when you get into your academics, into your testing.
That's my first priority, to make sure not only the kids feel safe, the staff feel safe, parents feel safe when they come in this building. That's just how I am. I welcome everybody. I just put their shoes in my shoes. Just like if my son in school, I would want him to feel safe while he's there. So while I'm here, I want these kids to feel safe.
My name is Barbara Davis, and I am the secretary here at Stephanie Tubbs Jones School. I grew up where the original Superman story was born. It inspired me because Superman is something that is not only big for Cleveland, but inspiration behind the creation of his character really brought inspiration to me in creating my characters. So my goal is to bring awareness to bullying amongst the youth, because I also was bullied when I was a child as well. When I grew up, I didn't have any superheroes that looked like me, and I looked around for them, but I couldn't find them. So I figured I can create them. My girls teleport around the world and fight against bullying mentally with the help of Serenity. I think it's pretty cool that I am able to still carry on a legacy that was built in Cleveland, Ohio, based off of Superman, and me being able to build hopefully the first triplet superheroes in Cleveland, starting from the place where Superman was created, is actually a big deal for me, and I'm pretty sure it's a big deal for our community, for the kids to be able to see superheroes that look just like them.
This is our annual Rock Your World with STEAM Festival. This is our first year partnering with the City of Cleveland, and we are thrilled to be at Public Hall. And right now what you are experiencing are multiple musical acts, from orchestra to band to marching band to, we just had it finished with our African drumming with Brother Olu, and we have art displays in the basement. We have multiple community partners and vendors here all day.
We have our mega body behind us, but we were talking about mental health awareness, and again, bringing forth the importance of understanding your body from head to toe. So we have the yoga, we have medical masseuse down doing massages for an individual. It doesn't always mean a person needs medicine, but they might need different methods and outlets of attaining wellness. So we're bringing it all today.
So as a culmination of learning throughout the year, this is the perfect opportunity for our teachers and our scholars to showcase what they've been doing. When you think about music, for example, it takes almost a year to really get to the level that you need to be able to perform. Nearly every school has some form of participation in this, whether it's through the All-City program or by tabling on their own to display what they're doing. This is truly an all-school, all-city event, and it's a celebration of every grade level, K through 12. It's the best day of the year. This is when we get to celebrate our kids and to celebrate our families, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be.
We are here for you. You were nominated by the academics team to receive an award from the Harvard Business School Alumni Association of Northeast Ohio, Excellence in School Leadership and Management. They give 2 awards. They give 2 awards to 2 extraordinary leaders in Northeast Ohio. You are one of them. And we thank you for all the work you do, not only here at Garrett Morgan for the scholars here, but also by representing the school leaders across our district. You do it fearlessly. You represent our educators and teachers. You advocate for them. And we just are grateful for your leadership. So excited for you. Congratulations. Scholars and educators, give your principal a round of applause.
So when you are late to school, like, how does that make you feel? Do you feel like you're missing part of your day, or you're trying to play catch up? Like, how does that make you feel when you come to school late?
It just makes it a little bit harder to understand where we at and in school. I live in a Huff neighborhood, which is on the east side of Cleveland, and go to school on the west side. So I take 2 buses to get to school, and it usually takes about an hour. And maybe if it's like something going on in the road, traffic jams or something, it'll take off some time, so it'll take even longer to get to school. I have to get to school on time so I can be able to pass, get the credits that I need to be able to graduate. I got World History first period, so it's kind of hard to catch up in that class because we doing pasting, so we moving, and it's no point in coming back for just one student. It's important to get to school on time because you will be able to meet new people, learn things like that you never knew. Get to school.
One of our students, they did something special for someone in the community. And so we get all these people here to celebrate and to recognize what Allison did for someone in her community.
That morning while boarding the school bus, you noticed a small child wandering alone on the street, wearing only a t-shirt. Recognizing the danger the child was in, you immediately alerted the bus driver and took action to help. I want to give you a First District Commander's coin. It's got a 1 on the front for the First District and the seal of the Cleveland Division of Police on the back.
And I saw the girl walk out, and the bus driver was about to hit her.
And so what did you say to the bus driver?
I was like, stop. And then he told me, who is that? Is that your niece? I was like, no, that's not my niece. And then I went off the bus to go grab her.
It shows a great deal of awareness and maturity for her age. Most kids, like you say, they're on the bus, they're talking, they're on their phone, you know, and the fact that she noticed, she paid attention, you know, to what was going on at that particular time is just, you know, amazing.
I think it's very important because, you know, we're a community. We work together, we help each other, and that's how we get things done, and she's already doing that. Children can teach us a lot, and I think she did. Be aware, look around, help people when you see them in need.
I don't really care about the gifts because it was just the point to save somebody, anybody that need help.
You go to the website, you type in the access code, and you're in. Your kids' pictures are there, and you could easily, I have kids at 2 different schools, you can easily switch from school to school and keep up on top of it.
Everything's right there. Like, everybody always has their phone with them, so you can easily access it to your phone.
It's a relief for me knowing that my child has the best chance that they can, knowing every day they wake up, they can go to school and, you know, take advantage of the day.
The Board of Education's job is to make sure that the right adult behaviors are in place so that students can learn and grow in school every day.
I hope to motivate the scholars in some form of capacity, really to make sure that they're inspired by the work that we do for them. You know, this is a job of service, fully volunteer role, but the people that are serving on the board, myself included, are doing it out of passion and pure hope of the scholars' futures. And so I hope that they start to believe in themselves the same way that we believe in them.
Having been an educator all my life, I thought I would have a significant role to play in shaping what our young people and young scholars and our future leaders are going to be doing with their education. I believe in paying it forward, and I still believe I am paying it forward for myself.
I'm an inveterate volunteer, and so I saw this as an opportunity to give back to the Cleveland community and try to make a difference.
I enjoy being engaged with people in my neighborhood, hearing from them, learning what they think about different things, hearing suggestions, hearing thoughts, even the complaints. I enjoy engaging with the students, and I think that's my role with being a board member, is engaging with the community in every way possible.
I'm out there every day talking to people, sitting on every community work group that you can think of. What I want to accomplish is that we level up the opportunities for our children to receive the best education possible. And I want you to be able to discover all the goodness in you, because we all have something that is unique about us. So we want to give you the opportunity to explore that and make good decisions once you leave the school system.
I believe that this district can be a premier district, and I'd love to be remembered for pushing a standard of excellence.
I wanted to give back to the school system that I participated in from kindergarten to graduating senior. I'm hoping to make a difference, have a positive impact, and see the test scores and graduation rates increase. I also hope to inspire other CMSD alum to give back to CMSD with their time and support.
I'm grateful to interact with so many wonderful people, brilliant individuals who have the capabilities and skill sets to really make our city even greater. And I'm just honored to be a part of the plan of the CMSD and the service of this community.
As a kid myself, I moved around a lot and I went to a lot of different schools. And what I saw firsthand is that all children are born equal with the same rights to education, but not all schools are created equal. And some schools have more resources than others, some schools have more of the right practices than others, and I wanted to be a part of making sure that our school system was the right system for our children so they could have the education that they deserve.
We all have different skill sets, different experiences, different backgrounds that we all bring to the table when it's time for us to have these discussions. We bring different perspectives and different life experiences. And so being able to sit at the table with other leaders in our community and people who actually are invested in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District system, it means that we're providing different perspectives. We're looking at it from different lenses and different angles, which is also representative of our community, right?
You know, our students achieving everything that they possibly can, achieving and striving towards our goals and guardrails that our board laid out. I think that, you know, producing students that can enter the world in whatever way they choose to and be successful is really the only thing to accomplish from my perspective.
Most importantly is increasing student outcomes. So we have our challenges, but my board colleagues and I and Dr. Morgan and his incredible staff are heavily focused on that, and we're going to do everything in our power to make it happen.
My favorite quote is Man in the Arena, actually. It's by former President Teddy Roosevelt, and it's really about not paying attention to the critics. It's not the critic who counts, it's not the person on the sidelines, it's the person who's getting dusty in the arena every single day and getting back up again and again and again, even after failure. And even if you fail at something, at least you failed by daring greatly. But the only way to be great is to try.
Today it is the last scrimmage to find out who goes to state. It has been a really great journey. It's different learning about STEM and like robotics and tech.
My favorite part about building the robot is all the teamwork it takes. The teamwork, I feel like it brings our team together, and I really like that part.
The robot has to launch artifacts, which is similar to a ball. So they're launching it into a pyramid type situation and get those points, and then you have to line your robot in a certain order to get points. It's a lot of challenges in depth in getting points.
Our robot, it took us a lot of time to really build it. It took a lot of patience. We came across many problems and challenges, like our chain kept breaking, so we had to find a lot of solutions to that problem. And it was a lot of gracious professionalism used.
This is their thing, and they really take it seriously, and they come out and they try, and you just, like this morning, one of my girls did something in one of the presentations, and I started to tear up because I was just so proud of them because I'd never seen this child do this, and she just blossomed right in front of me.
Hi, I'm Darielle Snipes with CMSD Communications. Today, I am so excited. I am hanging out with two of the Senate League girls flag football teams, John Hay and Rhodes. This sport is gaining popularity. Right now, CMSD has 7 teams. I'm so excited to learn more about flag football. Let's go. Joining me now is head coach of the John Hay ladies flag football team, Coach Vanetta Kreider. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I know this is an exciting sport. It's a growing sport. It just got sanctioned by the Ohio High School Athletic Association. That's exciting news. Yes. So now your girls can go for state championships. Yes. But you know, some of us were brand new to flag football. Tell me, what is the difference between flag football and just basic football?
The difference for flag football and basic football for our girls is that we actually get to compete this year. Outside of only using flags and not be able to contact each other, and we have to wear mouthpieces.
Okay, but just talk about the growing popularity of this girls sport and how exciting it is, especially here in CMSD and the Senate League.
Yes, right now it means that girls flag football is now recognized by OSHA. So now we get more opportunities to get school fundings. So luckily we're a Division I school, so we had about 40 girls that come and try out. So this year we were expecting even more.
I mean, what do you think about that more girls want to play football?
I'm excited. I'm excited to teach them and for them to want to be competitive and lead and be outside their comfort zone.
The fact that it's, you know, when people think about football, they think about it as a male-dominated sport. The fact that flag football, especially girls flag football, is taking off, it gives young ladies an opportunity to play what once was known as a male-dominated sport. Can you just talk about that opportunity for them?
Yes, it now gives the girls a platform to compete and lead, and we're breaking stereotypes and proving that football isn't just for boys. Anybody can play as long as you got the passion and the skill for it.
And joining me now are 2 players from the girls flag football team at Rhodes. Welcome. Tell me your names and what grade you're in.
I'm Aaliyah. I go to Rhodes Environmental Studies and I'm in 10th grade.
My name is Naya. I go to RCCA and I'm in 10th grade.
Wonderful. So just tell me, because I don't know, I'm learning, what is the difference between flag football and football?
Well, flag football and regular football, we already know it's not as much contact, but there's a lot you can do. Like the quarterback can't run.
The ball is smaller, less people on the field, so it gives. And flag is it's quick. It's not like football. Football you have more time. Flag is quick, and you have like less time.
Okay, and then you also have the flags. Yeah. How hard or easy is it to get another opponent's flag? flag?
It depends on how fast the person is moving.
Yeah,
and what moves they're pulling out. But usually, if you're up, like if you're catching up to the person, it's very easy. They're not hard to pull or nothing, so.
So tell me, why did you guys want to join the team?
Well, I wanted to join the team because ever since I was like very young, I always played regular football with my brothers. And when I got older, I realized like it was something I always wanted to do. In like 2023, I played flag football with boys, but then I got scouted for a girls team, and we went all the way to nationals in Las Vegas and won a championship ring there. And then when I came here, there was no flag football team, so I asked if I could play tackle. But my mom wouldn't let me, and then I found out later on we had a flag football team, and I was like, oh, this is my sport, so I'm definitely going to play.
I also feel like a sport that was really made for boys that girls never really got the opportunity to play. When I saw it at Rhodes, I feel like a sport that was always classified as like a boys sport, being like girls being able to play, I feel like that was really cool. So I really wanted to take that opportunity to play. And also, Coach O'Neill, she really inspired me to play. She was the assistant basketball
The board is now back in public session. The chair will now entertain a motion to adopt 7 resolutions, each authorizing the non-renewal of an administrator.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Morgan, any explanations on these resolutions?
Each of these resolutions authorizes the non-renewal of the employment contract of a school-based administrator, specifically principals, assistant principals, and deans of engagements, campus coordinators as well. Each of these administrators were provided notice more than 30 days ago of the board's intent to non-renew their expiring employment contracts. And of their right to meet with the board prior to the board taking this final action on their non-renewal of their contracts. The board did grant meetings to those administrators who requested such a meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Morgan. Any discussion from board members? Thank you. Hearing no further discussion, Mr. Stockdale, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Billups?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Streeter?
Yes.
Mrs. LeBrun?
Yes.
Mrs. Peak?
Yes.
Mrs. Welchow?
Yes.
Motion passes with 6 votes.
Thank you. The chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn this board business meeting.
So moved. So moved.
Second. Hearing no objection.
I'm just kidding.
Hearing no objection, this meeting is adjourned. Good night and have a good summer.
Sorry.